Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Emmett from Team Anvil, and I am joined today by this black screen that should be Alex Estrada, but we got some technical difficulties, so it's not working out so well. But today we're going to talk about gear. Here we go. It's just me. All right, so wanted to bring to you like an interesting topic. A lot of the conversations that we have on our team, it revolves around what kind of gear are we using and why did we select that gear? Oh boy. All right. So, hey, what's going on, everybody? If I don't like interact too much with the side chat, don't take it personally. I'm literally a one-man show here today. So let's talk about gear. Let's figure it out. I'll be monitoring. I'm just not going to be typing. So Angry Sarge, welcome him. Michael Dunn, hello. Gear. So what is gear? Why does it matter to us? And what are the different considerations we need to think about before going out there and dropping some of our hard-earned cash on gear? Well, to me, you can look cool or you can, oh, it's personal. Yeah. You can do what everybody else is doing and like Instagram influencers, whatever. Or if you're in a unit and you can kind of tailor your gear how you want it, like you can do it like everybody else, or you can set it up the way you like it, which works best for you. As far as what we purchase, I think now we're starting to really like figure out through trial and error a lot of times too, and through the buddies around us that already have gear. Hey, what's a really good brand of gear and what's not? I get a lot of questions on my gear setup, and what it says. What? All right, Alex is going to try and come in now. We're going to try and bring him in. Oh,
hey! All right, it's coming off. Can you hear me?
Nobody can hear you.
Nothing?
Yeah, no kidding, man. So trial and error, whole career, and that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Trying to figure out like what works. And there's no such thing as like, this is like a universal application. I feel like, and this is my personal opinion here, I feel like we need to have base layers, right? So there's a bare minimum amount of gear that we need to be able to have. And how we set that gear up is irrelevant, right? You set it up to customize it to your own fit. As far as what that actual gear needs to be, in my opinion, there's controversy between a plate carrier or a chest rig or a belt. So for me, Alex, say something.
Can you hear me?
Nope, cannot hear you. We'll figure it out. Just interrupt me. But when we can hear you, we'll know because you'll interrupt me, and I'll be like, "Oh, whoa!" All right, cool. So let's get to a work belt. All right. So, well, daggone, I grabbed it right by the magazine. I was supposed to do that. You can hear him? I can't hear him. Wonder why I can't hear him.
Wait, everyone else can hear me?
All right, cool. Let's see why I can't hear Alex.
I can't see any of the chats either, so I don't even know what people are saying.
All right, can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, hear him just fine. So let's try this again. How about now?
I can hear you still. Can you hear me?
I don't like this. It's always something with this setup, I swear. All right, stand by, guys. I swear. Note that some platforms. Blah, 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 blah. All right, I can hear you now. All right, sweet.
You can hear me?
Yep, I got you.
All right, sweet.
All right, so when we talk about gear, here we go again. Is what works best for us. Now, I got a pretty basic setup here. All right. This is what I would call a very basic belt, right? It's got a holster. Sorry. All right. It's got a QLS fork and receiver, meaning I can take this thing on and off and put a whole nother holster on it. Got an inner belt like this guy with the Cobra buckle, because Cobra buckles are super strong. All right. And then it has an outer belt, which is this big padded part. Got some mag carriers. Got a dump pouch or admin pouch, keep extra mags, ammo, cookies and chewies in. And now I'm a little different than most people. Most guys, I think because they, due to their own experience or they see it on Instagram, a lot of guys run a med kit back here. I run an extra magazine carrier for my AR-15, right, for my rifle. So that's my gear. That's my setup. That's how my belt looks. What's your belt look like, Alex?
So mine's pretty simple. Mine's an everyday use belt for work. So I have the Roan. It's a little flimsy. This is unloaded. Just standard Glock 17 as my duty service weapon. So I have the high-speed geared tacos. I have the kind of like Emmett setup with the 2 pistol pouches and then the 1 single mag pouch. I don't run another rifle mag pouch, although I have a tourniquet, handcuffs, and then my holster. And I also have the QLS system that is great when you're on the range if you want to swap between guns. And to note, if you're wearing a vest, it kind of angles your holster out away from your body a little bit, which is kind of nice when you're drawing. Other than that, I'm also rocking the Cobra belt buckle, which is, like Emmett stated, is very strong. But pretty simple setup.
Yep. So the reason I have my belt set up the way I have it set up is because it works really well for me. It literally is ergonomic for me. It's just enough equipment for me to feel like no matter the situation I find myself in, I can work through that situation and get wherever I need to go. And for me, I don't mind having about another 5 to 10 pounds of gear on my hips. Like it's not even that heavy, like maybe 5 pounds max. I don't mind that. I would rather run with that on my hips than like, I don't know, a plate carrier like on my chest. Like if I can only choose one or the other, right? I would choose a work belt over a plate carrier. That sounds really dumb when I hear that out loud because a plate carrier will save your life. But I like what a work belt affords you the ability to carry versus a plate carrier. What do you think?
So I wear a vest every day, and one thing I will say is you're not high speed all the time. So it's just kind of give and take. When you were in the service, Emmett, it was probably a little different. But I personally would rather have it on my belt because I don't want to create too much workspace in front of me. So in case I have to break away from somebody or, get down, I don't like having a whole bunch of stuff in front of me. It just kind of can get in the way sometimes. And there's definitely applications for it where I do carry my taser and stuff in front of me, which is kind of nice. But I don't like a whole lot in front of me.
Yeah. So I see both ways, right? Like, I've had to work with like a whole lot of stuff on my chest. Like I've had to go hands on and do like work that way. And I've also had the opportunity of like being very minimal when I'm doing that work too. It can be an advantage, man, to have gear on your chest, like so plates forward with stuff stacked on top of those plates. That can put a lot of pressure and make people really uncomfortable real quick, especially if you're in a dominant position. But like now, if I wasn't like in a dominant position, like I might feel differently. Like I might be like, uh-oh, right? Like, but what do you say? Okay. Hey, thanks for the advice, Angry Sarge. Yeah. So anyways,
Just that's why I can't see any of the comments for some reason. So
you can't?
No.
This video is not sponsored by Taco Bell. He said, yeah, I'm comfortable right now sitting in my cruiser. Yeah.
Who said that?
Sean. I don't know why you can't see this.
Tell Sean he needs to get back to work.
Yeah, get back to work, Sean. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why you can't see this either. That's weird. Okay, so I don't want to get carried away with side chat. I'm gonna monitor, but so now when it comes to my helmet setup, I have it a little bit different. But I'll tell you what, like I see everybody out there essentially doing the same thing too. And it's kind of funny because the evolution of helmets has really come a long way. And before anybody chews me up out there, once you see my helmet, look, I understand I don't have my retention band around my mount. Okay. I lost it and I don't know where it went. And I didn't put a new one on. But so my helmet, it's really a pretty basic setup, right? Got my ear pro, got my IR strobe, and it is retro, and I like it. Got a helmet cover. You don't need that. I've got my retention bands, and I have my night vision, right? And I have my pads on the inside. There's really not a lot of guesswork that you have to do with a helmet set and battery pack on the back. Forgot to mention that, right? Helmets are super easy. There's not like really a lot of gymnastics that you got to go through to set a helmet up. It really comes down to what do you need that helmet for? Like, what are you doing? And the only thing I don't have on here, which I don't know where it went, but my SSE light, you know, to be able to do like sensitive side exploitation or like forward illumination. Dude, I don't come to think of it now. I don't think I've had it on the helmet the whole time. I don't know where it is. But anyways, I guess I need to find that. Helmets are super easy. What's your helmet look like?
I got a lot going on with the scrim cover on it right now.
Snap.
But
you're ready for Ukraine.
Basically, I'm rocking the old school retro bayonet mount with the PVS 14. It is dummy corded in case it falls off. I don't want to break that. So got the Peltor contacts. I did kind of a budget build with this helmet, and this is an old military ACH that I cut. So it's a little bit cheaper than going if you guys want to go that route. It is a little bit heavier. It's not a bump helmet. It's still ballistic, so it's a little heavier. Got the IR American flag patch because, you know, you got to rep that. And then my liner is just people might hate on the Condor pads, but they are super comfortable and very affordable. So still rocking those. Yeah, other than that, underneath the scrim is just a M81 woodland cover that is pretty standard. So, like Emmett said, there's not a whole lot that goes on with them. I don't rock the counterweight because my helmet is heavier than Emmett's, so I don't feel that need right now to have the counterweight. And it's been fine for me for what I use it for. So,
yeah. So like when you start like putting on like hearing protection and whatnot, over the ear hearing protection anyways, like this helmet mounted to arc rails and whatnot, what's really, there's pros and cons to that, but like one of the pros is that it kind of locks your helmet onto your head. The con is you kind of have to pop your ears every so often because moisture will like, it'll kind of like pool itself in there, especially like on hot summer days and whatnot. But other than that, so I think just to kind of get this out of the way, you hear repping that iron flag. Yeah, man. You hear a lot of people say this, but then you don't really, I'm not going to say a lot of people don't follow through on it, but it's cool to have the gear. All right. If you're just looking for clout, you know, like it's cool to have the gear and train a little bit with it and do a lot of knowledge transfer style stuff, you know, like you're really getting into the weeds on theory. And then with the limited amount of time that you have, like trying to apply some of that theory, you know, into actual reps. And it's a whole nother thing to be able to turn the lights off and be able to operate with that gear, right? And then on top of that, you know, to be at a high level of proficiency with that gear. So my recommendation to people is, hey, that's great. Go get the gear, but immediately start putting the reps in because the gear doesn't matter. You could have the Gucciest gear in the world and you're going to get outperformed by somebody that's actually grinding away at the fundamentals.
yeah, I agree. I would say focus as far as gear wise, focus more on what you'd be actually using in a real world scenario every day, rather than trying to just get the Gucci stuff and trying to look cool. Because at the end of the day, if you get into a real world situation, it's not about looking cool. It's about knowing your training and knowing how to eliminate a threat if need be.
I mean, it is kind of about looking cool, though. You know,
I guess you could say that, but I'd rather go home at the end of the day than look cool. So,
yeah,
and if you can do both, then even better.
Yeah, definitely. So like we did like a video, we put a video up the other day of me and one of the other dudes, D-Pat, out at the range, and we were doing a lot of like dynamic stuff, right? So we were running, getting our heart rate up, and then, you know, getting it. And like the last video or clip of that video is us running from like the far point of the range, the entrance part, to where we can actually put hands on guns, right? So grabbing the gun out of the hand of somebody holding it and then running some more and then firing at the targets. I got like a lot of comments from people about, hey, not a lot, but like a few comments from people asking me like, hey, one of the guys was just like, dude, that's baller, man. You made that look awesome. And then I had other people that were like, dude, how did you get your sling over your helmet like so quick? And I was like, I was talking to Adam Johnson about this, and I was like, that's just reps, man. That's like reps and reps and thousands upon thousands of reps and a lot of experience having to grab a gun, sling it, and get to a wall. or get into contact, getting out of a vehicle, right? Like all these different things that you take for granted when you're doing that job. And then you get to the point where it's just seared into your muscle memory, right? It's always going to be there. And then you do these things. You don't even realize you're doing it until you're doing it and somebody points it out. So that's kind of the goal, I think, across the board. It's not, I think guys will think you look cool the better you get at mastering the basics, right? Because it does. It looks awesome to see somebody so proficient at something. Like you take a quarterback in the NFL, like a good one, and you see how long they can stand in the pocket, how they move in the pocket, how they can almost feel the defensive players coming around them, how they let that arc around them, and then they time their release, their check downs, all that stuff, right? And you're like, they make it look so easy. You think you're like, man, that looks really easy, but like how much work took getting to that point, man, where you can do all those things, what would seem to most of us as like very flawlessly. So
yeah, I think training is a big part of it. That way you become proficient in what you're trying to become. I mean, I think everyone should train, even if you never have to get into that real world situation. If you do, then you have that training. And if you can be proficient at it and look cool at the same time, that'd be sweet.
looks super cool. I mean, gear's pretty easy, guys. It's not rocket science. You go out there, you get yourself some like decent gear. So this video is not sponsored by anybody. Let me just first like get that out there. So this belt, and Alex, don't show your gun again. But so this belt, how I have it set up, again, I already told you I have it set up the way I like it. So now I'll just kind of talk to you about what I actually have on here. That way, you know what brands that we kind of go with on our end here. But so I just took this guy. This is a fork adapter, a QLS fork adapter. And this is the receiver right here. It just literally, one goes inside of the other. And then you bring it down and it's not going anywhere. All right. So this QLS system is made by Safariland, right? Yeah. Now, and that's who also makes this holster. This is made for like, I don't know, a Glock 17, Glock 19. This is Safariland DO 6390 RDS for a red dot sight. It has a hood. Sorry, I keep hitting this thing. It has a hood on it. Has a thumb. It has level 2 retention holster, meaning you have to activate that thumb release in order to get your gun out of it, or your pistol out of it. Also having a thigh strap on it, to me and to me alone, I feel like it really helps keep it from bouncing away from my leg when I'm doing dynamic movements. So for me, that's what I like to have them for a holster. I love this holster. It's made out of Kydex. It's wrapped in Kadura. It is very durable. This is years old. This thing is lasted. It's outlasted guns. I've had more guns in this holster than I've had this holster. So that's me. What kind of holster do you have?
I'm in a different little position because I have to go with what's issued for work. This, like I said, I'm also rocking the QLS. I believe this is just a Safariland. I think it's the LTM3 Lite holster. and it's just I have it as a level 2. So I have the hood and then a separate locking system. Um, and
Isn't that the level 3 retention holster?
So I did have the level 3 with the hood. I had taken the hood off because I like having just a level 2. What I noticed
Okay.
with the hood is it'd get caught in seat belts, and it would get it'd get caught in things, and it was kind of annoying. So I went ahead and took it off. So now I just have the level 2 with the hood. Um, the holster pad, I guess, where it attaches to the belt and to my leg. I also am rocking the leg strap. Um, just another Safariland basic. I don't know if you guys can see that, how well you can see that, but
We gotta get you a light.
it's a drop leg holster, which I have indifferent thoughts of opinions about that. I would like it to be back up at my hip on the belt, actually. That way it's just a little tighter. If you rock it like this, you definitely want that leg strap. That way this isn't coming wobbling off of your leg. So if you run it like that, definitely have the leg strap. And other than that, that's pretty much all it is. And so what's cool about the QLS, and like I said, this is not a sponsorship video, but I can take Emmett's holster and put it right back on mine if we wanted to switch guns or do anything like that, and which is super convenient. And like I said, I also like the fact that it creates a space away from your vest. That way you can draw easier when you get that. So
Yeah, agreed. So I have the mid ride paddle, or what is it called? UBL.
yeah.
So mine's a mid ride. So it's not down as far as yours would be for a drop leg, but for me,
I like. Yeah, I was gonna say I like how that one is. It's a little bit more secured, especially with that leg strap. It just seems a little tighter, less movement. Also, a thing for me with the drop leg is when I sit down in a car or something,
oh yeah,
it angles my sidearm at a weird angle. So in case I needed to engage from my car, it makes it a little more difficult to get out of that holster, and that's kind of why I'm contemplating on switching and going back up to the what is it called, the mid ride.
yeah.
Which just makes it a little easier. I think it's just, I mean, drop legs I think are getting a little old school. So anyone, please don't hate me for saying that if you rock a drop leg, but
Very Tomb Raider-ish.
yeah, and I'm kind of going away from that. I've seen all sorts of drop legs. I've seen them going down to people's knees pretty much, and kind of irks me a little bit. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. We are talking equipment, man, and I'm a big fan of. I mean, you've heard me say this a lot, but if you're new and you're tuning in to this, you probably haven't. But we don't know what we don't know, right? But once we get exposed to something that's more efficient, or it just makes more sense, and then we ignore that, that's where ignorance comes in, right? Like now you know better. You know what? Wait, hold up. Ignorance. Yeah, ignorance is knowing better, right? Yeah. Like you know. You choose not to. Whatever. I got that wrong. Comment below. Tell me what it is. I probably got it wrong. All right. But yeah, drop leg holsters are just bad. They chafe the legs. If you got to get dynamic, like getting in and out of a vehicle, man, it changes how you, especially if it's on your right leg, that's your gas pedal and brake leg. So, I mean, you're constantly going to come into friction with something. But whatever. So moving on, let's go with mag setup. Now, when I was in, I didn't have pistol mags on here. I just had another rifle mag. Now that I'm out and I carry a sidearm a lot, and I do a lot of that transitional training. What I do is I have two pistol. Oh man, nobody can see. I have two pistol carriers and one mag carrier. How do you have your stuff set up?
Kind of the same way. I see you're rocking the S-Tac Kiwis.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the high-speed gear tacos. You might be able to see a little better. Which both have great retentioning system. I do like the fact that his is one piece and mine, but as opposed to mine where they're separated. I do like having all my mags on the same side. So if I know I need to reach for a mag, they're all on one side. That way I'm not like having my pistol mags on my left and a rifle on my right. It would just get a little complicated. I always like to angle my mags forward. That way, when you come down, you can take it right out and load it in. So that's just how I rock mine. I'm not saying mine's right. I'm just saying that's what I like. Another thing to talk about real quick. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or whatever, no pun intended. Tourniquet. You want to make sure if you're rocking a tourniquet on your belt, you want to make sure you can get to that tourniquet with both arms. So mine's where this is positioned. It's more towards my back, which can be a little bit uncomfortable in the car, but you kind of have to position yourself a little bit better. But I'd rather be able to reach to that tourniquet if need to with both arms. That way, if one arm is immobilized, I can still get to it.
So here's a war right here that I'm not going to pick this hill to die on, but I always like challenge people to get away from carrying their tourniquet on their back and instead stage it forward. Like if you're especially if you're law enforcement, you don't really have to worry about getting in the prone position and like minimizing your exposure, right? Your silhouette. So because you don't really have those considerations that you have to really deal with and worry about, and you got all this gear on the front end of your belt anyways, you might as well throw your tourniquet up there because it's much easier for me to grab forward from either hand. I can reach all the way over with my left hand or all the way over with my right hand than it is for me to do this or this, right? Like, and reach behind. I've never even noticed that, man, on your belt all this time we've been training. And I probably should have.
So I've thought about that. The only reason why I haven't even tried it yet was because sitting in the car, I feel like it would get kind of annoying.
Oh yeah.
Being in the front. So I mean, I could try it. I just never have because I figured it'd be annoying.
Dude, you know what's even more annoying? And here's really the reason why so we'll skip the dump pouch real quick and we'll go to this guy. This is my mag carrier that goes on the back, right? The small of my back. So med kits, jeez, they were not always as slim as they are now. So my experience with like IFAC, essentially it's like a brick, man, that would, go on here. It's got all your individual first aid, medical supplies and stuff. And it would jack my lower back up, especially like getting in and out of a Humvee, getting on and off of a helicopter, not so much because you can kind of stage yourself forward in the seat a little bit. But so I kind of was like, you know what? I kept my IFAC on my kit, like on my vest. That way I could minimize my space back here, but instead of leaving it bare, I threw a mag carrier on there, so I had a little bit more extra ammo. 30 more rounds, man. You never know. I could make the difference. So how do you have your setup on the back?
As far as I actually don't really have anything on the back. Because when I'm sitting in the cruiser, I don't want it pushing my back outwards. So that's roughly my back, which kind of is open for the most part.
Okay.
As far as med kits, we keep all the medical supplies in the back of our cruisers, so we don't carry an IFAC on us. I have one in my duty bag, but I can't speak for the other guys. And that bag is in the front with me. But everything else is there's also a bit bigger medical supplies kit in the back if in case we needed it, like in the trunk space. So I personally don't carry an IFAC on me. That's just me.
So this is more like an SOP question, I guess. Then, like, when I was in, and again, I was LE, right? We know that I was infantry. We essentially, like, I had a tourniquet on each arm and each pocket, right, of my duty uniform. Right, I had a tourniquet on my left arm, my right arm, my left leg, my right leg. Right, I had literally a tourniquet for every single leg, or extremity. Sorry. And when we went overseas, we always had an IFAC on us, right? In training, overseas, whatever, right? IFAC is always on you. And it's on us. It was on us, right? Yeah. It's always on us because, well, that's how we're going to save our own life, right? Or somebody else is going to. Like, let's say somebody freaks out and they're just like, their med kit, just like yours, is in their vehicle in the trunk, but they're so freaked out that they don't even think, man, to go, hey, go get your med kit, bring it back over here, save this dude's life. You know, it'd be real nice to have a med kit on you. I mean, I get it if you don't have room for it on your gear because you're already loaded down by all sorts of other stuff. Like, I get it. You know, just something to kind of think about.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I don't really want to show my vest, but
Yeah, don't show your vest.
we're in the process of getting new vests. The one thing I don't like about ours is it stops Molly. It has Molly only halfway up. So, and to that, and there's some Molly on the sides, but none on the back, at all. So how I set my vest up is I have my taser on my left side, away from my gun, opposite side of my gun, and I also have to wear the body camera, obviously, which the mount for that takes up a decent amount of space, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then radio pouch, and I carry 2 extra handcuffs on the side plate of my vest underneath my arm, which when you cuff a bigger dude, you definitely want to carry extra handcuffs because
Yeah, I've seen cops. No.
I think the most me and the boys ever got on one was 6 pairs on one person.
Daggone, 6?
He was a big guy. We had to link them together. So yeah, you definitely want to, because the last thing you want to do is become in a situation and you don't have enough handcuffs to cuff somebody or restrain somebody. So
dude,
yeah,
I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Big thing. But yeah, so right now my vest is a little bit, I don't have the entire Molly space I would like on that, but again, I don't really get a choice in that matter, but I know the department is getting new vests, so hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that would be good, man. I get it. So for anybody that's like listening, my opinion comes from my experience, although I understand because I've seen a typical LE setup. Like I kind of get it, man. Like, where are you gonna put an IFAC, really?
Yeah, and I would like to carry some medical supplies, but like as you said, an IFAC. I have an IFAC. I don't carry it on my person.
Mm-hmm.
They do get big, and lugging that around, and I'd rather minimize that. Take some of the stuff that I'm probably more likely not to use out. I would say one big thing different between most LE places and military is EMTs can get there probably a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Whereas like a combat medic, he's kind of more limited because we can get someone in and out and a lot quicker, I would say. Correct me if I'm wrong, Emmett, but
no, man, the Army is like all about sustainment, right? So you want to be able to sustain yourself for the maximum amount of time with the minimal amount of gear, right? So if you can't get somebody to a level 1, 2, or 3 medical facility, what's the next best thing? To have highly qualified medical, combat medical guys on the ground that can use the basic amount of gear, right? So tourniquets, chest seals, hemostatic gauze, right? Like the basics.
Yeah, and I would say, like, if I responded to a scene that required medics, as long as that scene's secure, when they show up, we're out of their way because now they have a bigger job to do. So they are a lot better at it than we are. So we'll just let them do their work.
Yeah, we start talking medical and then who's better at what. Like, I've always kind of like wondered why law enforcement doesn't get an insane amount of like medical training, because like you get shot, man, you're on your own.
I agree. Because usually we're at the scene first.
Yeah.
I would say 99% of the time. So I definitely would like to find some good classes to take about medical stuff that are actually worth taking, because I know some aren't.
Dark Angel Medical.
Yeah, I'd like to get into that and learn more. You can always learn more. So.
Oh, dude, it never stops. Like now they have the injectable, like hemostatic gauze, like little pellets and stuff, or whatever it is. Crazy. But all right, cool. So back to the gear. All right, so I'm running a T-Rex Arms Orion inner belt with a Coyote Tactical outer belt. What I like about this belt is it's not like, and no offense to anybody in the world that likes Viking tactical gear or tactical tailor gear. I like some of their gear a lot. But my exposure early in my career to those bigger, more robust inner outer webbing belts was just like, it is load bearing and you can stack it up with a lot. And it's not as good as this is. Or that older gear is not as good as this newer gear, and this has been out for about 5 years or so, I think. So, but I really like it because this offers you some padding, that will pad over your belt. It also has little hooks here, Velcro hooks that you can hook around your belt, like in your pants. And it's very comfortable. It's a comfortable ride. It goes on, it comes on and off. It goes on, comes off real easy, and it stays in place like really well. I love this thing.
Is the inner part of that Velcroed?
No, it's actually a gel, right?
Okay.
It's like gel, like you kind of see it.
Yeah. So it's like, that stays pretty well.
But it's tactile, man. It's not sticky like gum or anything, but I mean, like
it won't slip on clothes, is what you're.
It is not slipping. Nope. So I really like this for that reason. Like it stays very well. Now I also understand that there's like really good things in like GBRS group, Blue Bison, like some of these other manufacturers, right? They have like the Ronin, Senshi belt and stuff like that. Like they have the inner belt, which is like hook or loop, I mean. And then they have the outer belt, which is hook or loop, vice versa. I think GBRS flipped the script. It's like the inner is like loop and the outer is hook. Or maybe I have that backwards. I forget. One's hook, one's loop, and then put one that's never going to move, right? I think the only thing is about longevity. Like that hook and loop will wear down at some point. So do you have to end up replacing that belt? How long does that take, etc.? I don't know.
So I can talk about I have the Ronin belt, the Ronin tactical belt, which has seen better days. I probably need to get a new one. I do have a couple of complaints on this belt. So if you guys are watching over at Ronin, please fix this.
We're gonna tag
But
them.
the where you tighten the belt, where it stays, there's no. It has this little band on it, but it does not hold it. So every time I put my duty belt on, I have to retighten the belt, which is kind of annoying. It doesn't stay in place. Now, once I get it tight, it's fine for the day. I don't know really what causes it to come loose. But like I said, if you guys are watching this, please fix that over at Ronin.
So it doesn't have like any kind of like keeper for it.
No,
Or
it has this band keeper. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do, but if that's its purpose, it doesn't do a good job. So, I would like that fixed. Mine's a little different, where mine has Velcro, so I actually have another inner belt that attaches to, which works. Like I said, the belt is old. I've had this for about 2 years now, and I think it's time to get a new one. I also have Molly on the outside. I don't know how well you guys can see this with my
not well at all.
Yeah. But I have Molly here. You just believe me when I say that there's Molly there, which I attach everything to, because what I've learned is if you attach the mag pouches on the Velcro, you lose the Velcro space, so it doesn't hold as well. That's why I utilize that Molly. But other than that, it's a good belt for the most part, I guess. Just the one tightening thing's kind of annoying. So I'm thinking about, I don't know, Emmett, if you've seen the Faro Concepts, the Bison belt.
I think, isn't that the one that I think I saw a Grand Thumb video where he was talking about it a long time ago.
Yeah, that one I'm looking at now. So I'm probably going to be upgrading that here soon.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, is that the one that comes with the is that the one you can wear essentially like as a regular belt? You just put like that cover over it?
So I know they have those. I don't remember if the Bison belt is like that. I know it still utilizes the inner outer with the Velcro. I don't remember if that one is the regular inner belt or whatever. I don't know if you've ever messed with belt keepers, Emmett, but I want, like, I think a lot of people should get away from this because they're super annoying.
Yeah, you're talking about the ones that snap, the snap ones.
Yeah.
They look cool, but daggone, I would not want to have that.
If Sean's still on here, he can tell you the same thing. I'm pretty sure he still has to rock the belt keepers. But
yeah, that would not be cool. So we got like 10 minutes left. Let's talk. So this is meant to be more of like a brief overview for people, that like are kind of curious about the gear and stuff. We have this talk a lot. Like, as a matter of fact, I think me and Alex, you and I were just talking about this yesterday or the day before yesterday about helmets, right? Like, if you had the choice, like, would you want like a ballistic helmet, or are you good with like a bump helmet? And I think for most of us, and I would say, like, if you have the money and you got nothing better to do with it, go get a ballistic helmet, and also go buy a bump helmet and build them out identically, right? The bump helmet is going to be lighter, but honestly, if you have a ballistic helmet and you're worried about, or you have a bump helmet and you're like, hey, I'm going to go get a ballistic helmet, so if I get shot in the head, I'll live. Understand this, man. You can go online and watch video after video after video of cats like doing shot tests on helmets, man. And the deformation alone at closer ranges is enough. That will kill you too. So,
and if you guys buy a ballistic helmet, keep in mind when people advertise them, even people might hate me for this, Ops Corps will do it too. It says it'll stop up to a certain caliber, like, for example, a 44 Magnum or something along those lines. If you get shot in the head in the helmet with a 44 Magnum, the deformation would probably still kill you. So keep that in mind, where technically the helmet will stop it, but doesn't mean you're completely safe. So if you get a ballistic helmet, don't feel like you're invincible either, because the deformation is a real thing, and there's plenty of videos on that.
So I've seen people in war, man, get shot in the helmet, right? Or will get haloed. A lot of us have seen that. I don't personally. I cannot remember anybody that I've ever actually seen take a direct shot to the dome. I've seen people take glancing shots where it's just like it hits and it bounces off, right? Because it's a glancing shot. It's not direct. But like I haven't heard of somebody surviving like a direct hit, right? Like, so I think it's more of like a sales pitch, like, hey, level 5 NIJ standards or testing shows that it'll take up to this hit. It won't penetrate, but it's like, will it though?
It may not penetrate through the whole Kevlar, or I know now they have that plastic stuff that apparently is really good, like the ECHs and stuff. But like I said, the deformation. I feel the need to put mine on.
Everything is so loud. All of a sudden. I love these. It's going to be really hard to talk at a normal level without feeling like I'm yelling. I feel like I'm yelling. Mm-hmm.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, hear you real good. Hear you real good.
So I believe Emmett is rocking core amps on his helmet. Correct?
What? Ops core? Yes. I have the ops core amped. And I love them, man. I had Peltor Comtacs when I was in, and they worked really good. But yep, that's what you got right there. And they were great, man. They definitely work. They're not going to fail you. But these are like, so the difference between Comtacs, Peltor Comtacs, the 3s and the 4s anyways, and these ops core amps is ops core amps are omnidirectional hearing, meaning literally I can hear everything behind me and around me and in front of me just the same as everything else, which is kind of like a game changer when you want to be able to hear conversations going on around you, especially like if you're out there training and somebody says something over here behind you and you're like, oh yeah, I heard you, stop talking trash, right? Or whatever. It's really good, man. You can hear a twig breaking like 100 yards away with these things on. It's like a superpower.
Which is super nice because I don't believe the Peltors are omni hearing or whatever
They are not.
it.
I don't know about the newer ones. So
yeah,
if you know anything about
these are
the new Peltors, huh?
These are the Contact 3s. I mean, I can still hear very well, I would say. What's nice about getting hearing protection on a range that you can, electronic hearing protection, is you can have a conversation, and then as soon as someone fires a shot, it protects your ears.
Noise canceling.
Yeah, they're noise canceling. So what I like is, for people that don't know, is I can talk with someone without having to yell at them.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah, which is super cool. Because when you put in the little earplugs, you can't hear anything at all.
And then there's the microphone. So people have asked, are like, hey, why do they see guys that have like their microphone like arced up and over? And here's another reason why I like these. So your mic, is it on the left side or the right side?
Mine's on the left.
Yours is? Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you. You got lucky. I have so on the Peltors or on the Ops Core amps that I have, you can actually put it on whatever side you want. The boom mic,
Uh-huh.
you can install it on whatever side you want, which I dig.
Actually, maybe I can't. I just never noticed because I'm left-handed or right-handed, so it's always been on my left side.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Actually, I have two pairs: one for the helmet, one for not. Like if I'm not wearing a helmet, and I guess I just got lucky. Both sides are on the left, so.
Pretty legit. So, as some of you have been asking about new events coming up, hold up, let me turn this off. It's like a transformer. So we're going to be we're setting an event, popular demand or by popular demand. We're going to be doing our Silent Legion project, but we're going to be doing it as like under something different. As some of you know, we've trained with you with night vision, and we are going to be bringing a night vision course out there into the universe officially. But what we're going to do is, since it's still cold out and a lot of people, you know, are like that couldn't get into the Silent Legion project event, we're like, hey man, you guys really tore it up with the CQC and CQB stuff. Really appreciate the exposure to that. We're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it under night vision. All right. So that date is, you want to tell them the date, Alex?
Was it the March 11th?
March 11th. Yep. March
So
11th.
if you guys got something going on, cancel it and come to the event.
Yeah, so it'll be like a 6-hour day. All right. We're going to put it out on our website so that you can, by the end of the week, so that you can prepay now if you want to get ahead. We're only going to be able to have, we're going to have 5 instructors or 4 instructors, sorry. And then that'll leave us room for 20 students. All right. So we are going to have to cap out at 20. It'll be $200 per person, and that'll cover all of your simunitions, ammunition, as well as your cover charge into the event. But it's going to be a long day. It's going to be an awesome day too, because we're gonna be able to teach you guys a whole lot of stuff, some of which you probably already know, and you'll just get the reps, to get a little bit better, and maybe you'll learn a lot of stuff you don't know as well. Hey, what's up, Vanessa? My vision is failing me. Mr. Whitetail, fantastic. Hey, what's up? You'll be there? Sweet. So we're super excited about that. As we get into the warmer months, we had this idea about doing a lights out tour last year. We just didn't do anything with it because it's Andy. Hey, Mr. Chamberlain. We just didn't do it last year because we couldn't lock down. We were really dependent on LE ranges. If you remember correctly, like we were like, hey, we were going to go to Mount Gilead, then we were going to try and do the Circleville and then Youngstown or Zanesville circuit. And it all just kind of fell apart. So we just didn't go anywhere with it, but not this year. We're going to find alternate places and send it, do some cool night vision training, have a good time.
Just FYI, it's very hard to get ranges to let you shoot at night.
So
in that
case,
come to the event where we can train with night vision.
Yeah, everybody needs a suppressor. So, this isn't like a suppressor hype video, but if you don't have a suppressor, man, like buy one like immediately.
I'll be honest, I'm in that boat and I'm getting ready to purchase one. So
Or build your own, right?
make sure you Form 1 it though.
Yeah, you got to Form 1 it. Yeah, I am not a lawyer, so do not take anything that I say literally, okay? And it said so on the podcast. No, I didn't. But yeah, so tonight we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about gear, just gear considerations and whatnot. Like the gear that you see that we have, like I would never tell you you need to have that exact gear, right? Now, I will tell you, there are certain things that I'm unwilling to like budge on at this point in life. And I said this for like 2 years straight. Like it's not buy once, cry once. It's buy once, continually, sobbing uncontrollably, right? Like you're gonna have to put a insane amount of money into like your gear. But here's something else you need to put even more money into. You need to go out there and find legitimate instructors who have experience. It's cool to have all this knowledge in your head and be really good at articulating that, but you can't discount experience. And I don't mean like what people did in their past life. I mean, if I did a job in my past life, but I wasn't current with that job now, then I would be irrelevant, right? So you want to go seek out trainers that are good quality trainers that have good experience, but don't like rest their reputation on their experience. They're out there grinding, right? They're showing you that, hey, there's still the standard. So go find good trainers out there and get good training.
Yep.
Yep. And then when it comes to the whole gear stuff, what we're going to do next month is we're going to revisit all of this stuff, but we're going to break it down. So next month, we're going to have a whole series dedicated to training. And then the month after that will be dedicated towards gear. And then the month after that will be dedicated towards mental health. So go out there. If you need like some help with gear, and you just kind of want to get started and you just don't really know what to get, always hit us up anytime. Guys like Alex, George, myself, or anybody that's in our community can weigh in, give you some good ideas on like how maybe they set their stuff up versus like how we set ours up. That's the perk of being a part of this Team Anvil community, is that you have like a huge pool of people to, kind of bounce your ideas off of. I think Alex froze. Yep. His computer literally just died. Well, let's go ahead and remove him. So, all right, so it's me. All right. What else do I want to say? If I had to start with one thing, I always tell people, especially like the regular everyday carrier, you need a good holster to be able to carry your firearm around in. Without showing you my firearm, like you need a good rig to be able to hold it. Something that you can put your gun in, that you can conceal it with, and that will carry an extra magazine. You may not need this guy, but you definitely need the holster part of that. So once you have that, then you have a decision to make, right? Do you have a rifle? If you have a rifle, it's kind of the same deal, right? Once you get your rifle, you need some sights on it, whether, I always say just get some iron sights and then get a sling, because that sling is a rifle's holster. Once you have all that, now you're really into a dilemma. Do I get a belt or do I get a plate carrier? I always tell people to get the belt, because if you go to the range or you are training with people, a lot of the time it's just more comfortable to have a belt on that you can throw some lickies and chewies in your admin pouch. You can carry extra ammunition with you. You don't have to walk 100 feet back every single time that you need to reload. but to each their own, right? And then as you climb the ladder, like helmet, like hearing protection. A lot of people start off with the little earplugs, the little orange ones that they're compressible and you just wad them up like old cigarette butts and jam them in your ears. Then you go from that to maybe some like Howard Light Impact Sport hearing, like digital noise canceling, hearing protection and whatnot. And then maybe one day you end up with some ops cores, because they're just really comfortable and they do a really good job at canceling out noise, and you can hook a radio into it. And now all of a sudden you can talk over radios and all that stuff. So anywho, gear is the never ending black hole of conversation. Like you are never complete on the gear conversation, but there's always a good place to start. And it's my humble opinion that you just need a holster and that will fit inside of your waistband and ammunition, and then go take your money and go pay people that are better than you or that have a little bit more experience than you to train you how to be a little bit better. I still go to people that are better than me to help me get better. So we're never done learning. So hope you enjoyed this. We didn't go too far into detail, but that was on purpose. It's to scratch the surface. But go out there, get training, be safe, stay smart, be awesome. Go get training. We'll see you on the next one.